Hey guys, I know it's been a while, so here's like an hour-long video. I got the kit. I'm installing it. This video is just me installing the kit and just going over a couple of bodywork tips and just the process of me installing it and doing some bodywork. Hopefully the next part is me finalizing the whole installation of the side skirts and valences. And hopefully, yeah, next video is hopefully in primer and the car in like a rolling shell. So at least when I go to paint this car, it's rolling, you know? Hope you guys enjoy these clips. I know it's pretty long. I try my best to like cut down on me talking a lot, but like there's just a lot of content doing this wide body stuff. And if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. All up to you guys. Hope you enjoy the content, and if you guys have this kit and have any questions, just personally ask me. Like, I don't mind helping you guys out. Honestly, this kit, it fits really well. Little finesse you need to do to it, but it's a really good kit. Honestly, it's designed really well, and hopefully when it's all done and the bodywork's all nice and flat, it will look really nice. And if you want to know my next plan or next video, basically I'm going to try to throw this car into polyester primer I'm going to paint the engine bay and put the car into polyester primer one last time on the areas of the bodywork, block that down, and then put the car into a rolling like shell, like put the subframes back in and put it on wheels, just so I can roll into the paint booth, because I want to paint this car with all the body panels on, basically. Like, there's no point for this car to be on a rotisserie anymore. So I'm just trying to get it off the rotisserie and on the ground now. Well, on the next video. But yeah, enjoy the clips. All right, hey guys. So I just cut the quarter panel, and as you can tell, it looks hideous, but it is what it is. And as you can see, this is what I mean about people rolling their their lips and not cleaning it out and putting some sealer. Because look, this all corroded from basically all the moisture and the rocks that got like literally stuck here when it got folded up. See, there's barely any rust on the edges here. It got worse here because the moisture and everything. It just, yeah, you guys get the deal. So take care of your fenders, your original fenders, when you roll them. Like, do a proper job so things like this don't happen. Hey guys, so initial cut was smaller than this. I just cut a little bit higher to match the other side of the quarter panel because I'm worried about not cutting, sorry, this thing's in the way. But basically I cut the same height as here, basically on the other side. And yeah, the reason why is I don't want to like have any chance of the tire rubbing by the time I weld this all up and paint it, right? So I don't want any chances to redo everything here. Hey, I'm just about to weld up the quarter panel, get that all welded and sealed. But if anyone's like, oh, why'd you cut the quarters? It was so clean. Don't fucking talk to me. They're not clean, all right? This is like almost half an inch of Bondo. I told you, this car was a fucking wreck when I first got it. But yeah, so just trust the process. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Yes, cutting up the quarter panels hurts, but I know exactly what the fuck is wrong with this car, so don't worry. Anyways, the car will look amazing after this. Hey guys, it's been almost maybe like 2 weeks since my last video, if I ever did show me cutting up this quarter panel. But yeah, if I didn't, I'm in the process of cutting the quarter panel. I already cut it and welded all the slits onto the actual body, and now I'm actually like welding the slits shut so there's no moisture that gets in. And once that's all grinded down, I might put a metal body filler over these welds, metal body filler or seam seal. That's after I epoxy prime this bare metal area. Same thing with this side. I got it all welded. I didn't grind it flush. Like, I left maybe like a centimeter of weld around on the outside, just so like it's actually strong, so it remains strong. And one area I fucked up on, it kind of tore here when I was like bending it and hammering it. So this one I'm actually gonna weld like a piece of metal to fill in this gap because it's way too big to fill with welds. Sorry. But yeah, besides that, I grinded down the metal, I grinded down the paint all the way to bare metal. So like I said, epoxy, body filler, or metal body filler or seam sealer, and then primer surfacer, and then bed liner, and that's it. Alright, I just mocked up the kit. I didn't put any 3M adhesive or anything, just mocking it up, seeing how it's all gonna flow. Basically, from what I can tell from this kit, he includes a notch where you should line it up with this body line. I put a tiny bit below because I know the valence is gonna sit literally right on here. But either way, this is how I'm mocking it up. And the other reason why I mocked it up, because I need to figure out how much gap I need to fill with like metal, so this area in here doesn't get covered with snow, rain, or whatever, so it's all covered, you know. Yeah, another tip for, I know I'm using self-tappers, but before I use the self-tappers, I pre-drill the hole so I don't put any stress on the actual kit, and then I just put it snug. As soon as the bolt like snaps or like locks into place, that's it. I don't put any tension, because the more tension you're gonna do, the more ripples it's gonna put. You see, like right here is already a tiny ripple. So you want to minimize it as much as possible. So just keep it to that minimum, basically. I've seen people who like ripples like this size, like it's just giving you more work. So just lightly place it in, put it in place. You don't want to fuck with the fiberglass and make it flex in all sorts of ways. So just lightly put it in. And same thing, this area here was kind of fucked to mock up because it looks like, well, you know, this side's been in a car accident, right? So this gasket here is not lining up properly. And then here, I know the light's too intense, but there's a slither of body showing here. But that's about it. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about here. It's very minor, but everything else, it's fitting nice. The body's taped up. Like this bottom line is literally on the body line on the bottom. Same thing goes for here. It's literally on the bottom. The only concern is hopefully it's centered. I think it is centered because here this gap is basically the same. And here I'm just gonna bolt this in once I figure out everything. And as you can see, it's all closed off here as well. So it's all lining up perfectly, especially the gap here. It's a tiny bit of gap here, but not too bad. Same thing with this area. It's a tiny gap, but nothing too crazy. Right now I'm gonna figure out how much metal I need to shape up in here. Get that all covered up and call it a day. All right, mocked up the rears. Like I said, they're mounted. I'm getting the fronts mounted as well. I got the door and the fender back on, so I'm gonna mount them and get the kit on it, basically. Only thing that sucks is these are painted already, but you know, it is what it is. Time to cut it up. Hey guys, so finally got the full kit on, got it mounted how I want it. So now it's going to, well, as you can see, this hole here doesn't have a screw because I was dealing with some air. Well, not air, but like, you know, there's tension. So I fixed it and got it all flat and it's all good to go now. So now I'm gonna be taking this off, and as you can see, there's a little gap here, but that's not because the holes are not, it's not because the screws are loose, it's because the kit's not made perfect. You can't expect everything being perfect. There's just some extra material in the back here that's touching the fender before this lip. But either way, I'm gonna shave it as much as I can, get it to sit as flush, and then I almost fucking tripped. And then basically put the 3M adhesive on all four corners and then start molding it. I was planning to mount and like get the side skirts ready, like how it is right now, but there's no point on like drilling and shit. Well, this is how I'm gonna tackle it. First, I'm gonna mold the kit onto the body, and then we'll start to worry about how the side skirt's gonna be mounted, how the valence, well, the front valence, is it called front valence? I don't know. How the valence in the front is gonna be mounted, and how the valence in the back is gonna be mounted. So it's things I gotta deal with later on. Right now, I'm gonna take off this kit, clean up the back side of this quarter panel, make it flat. Well, not flat, but like, you know, clean up the welds a little bit, spray some primer, and then I can always, no, I can't get paint back here. It's gonna be really tight. And as you can see the little light there, that's where there's like little gaps. So when I'm putting 3M adhesive, I might need to put like maybe one more screw here, just so it's more tighter. And that's the thing, because like I was using his videos as reference, like the guy who built this kit, and it looked like when he was actually like molding, it looked like when he was actually like sticking the kit onto the body, he used maybe like 12 screws. So right here, I only have maybe like 7 or 8, and I can already feel a wave here. Fuck me. Oh, my OCD is gonna be crazy, but that's because of the bolt. But yeah, I'll get that all fixed up. And here's the other side. Lighting's not the best here, but you get the idea. It's all mounted perfectly. And honestly, I was gonna tell myself, oh, that I need to put the suspension back on and just put the wheels on so I can like make sure it's 100% centered. But to be honest, for this kit, all you gotta do is just make sure this body line, it flows nice with this body line. As you can see, it's like a centimeter, not a centimeter, yeah, it's a centimeter. It's a centimeter this way. But if I'm thinking about the side skirt here, it basically covers that centimeter. So it's in line here. And if I go here, this line literally flows perfect with this. It might be as well like a millimeter or 2 off this actual body line, but that's perfect because once I put the valence, that'll cover that little gap. So I'm really confident in this. And let's say if it does turn shit, then I might just hang myself in the garage somewhere and hope to be never found again. Hey guys, sorry about the lighting. It's just this is what I have to deal with right now. Got the infrared heater running. I'm not getting this too close to the panel. I'm trying to get the panel just like 20-30 degrees Celsius, just on and off, getting the panel like a decent temperature. The 3M bonding adhesive, it doesn't have like a set temperature that you must set it at. It does say like you can set at 10 degrees Celsius below or whatever. It affects secure time, and it also affects the strength of the panel. Like I'll try and hopefully link everything in the description, but there's a technical data sheet you can look into for this stuff. The shear strength, at what temperature you apply it at, it does affect. And after maybe like 14-15 days, it's all basically the same. This stuff, 3M is saying, is like 7 to 14 days to cure and to fully be like fully like, you know, strong. So I did the same thing here. Lighting is not the best here because I'm using the other extension for the infrared heater, but same thing. I kind of messed up the panel adhesive a little bit here. Here's another quick update. So I just mounted the fronts, that side and this side as well. It's all mounted, and honestly this side was a lot more easier to mount because he added a thick lip back here, which is perfect. It sits against the fender perfectly. So it seats nice, it creates a nice like seal, like everything's squeezing out perfectly. So this is a lot easier to do. And like I said, same thing, I just did like 1 inch or 2 of metal all the way through. And yeah, and then the adhesive, I literally just did a string. Like it's literally the same tip of this. It's like, let's say the thickness is like that right there. So it's the same size that comes out. Like I don't layer it on. Like I didn't layer it on because, yeah, I don't layer it on. So I just, the same little, like the same bead all the way across. I don't do a double pass or anything. I do one big bead across the whole thing. And then down here, I do a big chunk of adhesive, and as well as here as well. And that's about it. So hopefully this lasts forever and I don't have to deal with it. And yeah, hopefully this all cures perfectly fine and I can get to actually molding the kit. Yeah, so just a quick while this video is rolling. Basically, when you're applying the panel bond, I do mention this later on in the video, but I did not notice this before I installed this kit. You should put the panel bond on the bare metal of the quarter panel and on the kit. It doesn't really provide extra strength. The only reason why I say just put it on the bare metal on the car is so it covers up the metal spots. Because right now, one of my issues is trying to put paint or like any type of protective coating on the bare metal that I left behind the kit. that's literally exposed to all the materials and moisture that's in the air, water that's on the ground, snow sometimes, you know. So just put that that panel bond, lay it on the bare metal, brush it in, make sure all the metal's covered, and then put panel bond on the back side of the kit and install it. And that should not give you any rust issues in the future. And hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake as me, because it is a pain in the ass. Like, I know I'll be able to remedy this situation, but it's just annoying, you know. It's good. I should have did my own research, but I was looking at all these other videos on installing this kit, and they don't really go too well over this little point, and this little point costs me a lot of time now, you know. So yeah, just a little reminder on that. Let me think of something else. Anything else on the kit? And I recommend using a long strand fiberglass, by the way. Try not to use short strand. If you can get a long strand fiberglass, it's more durable. It's more stronger, and it is a little bit more flexible than short strand. So I recommend long strand. And then, you know, once you got the nice foundation of the long strand, then you can build up your body filler right on top. But yeah, this body kit took a long time to do the body work. As you can see, it's nice and sunny outside. This is probably around October. I just finished the body work, and it's like January 11th, when I'm recording this video. It takes a long time. Well, it doesn't take a long time. It's just, you know, I'm getting busy with life and work, right? If you're working on this by yourself and you have like literally in the garage every single day, I would expect you maybe to finish this in maybe 2-3 weeks, just the body work. But yeah, it takes time, so don't rush these things. You want this kit to look good. You don't want to spend all this money on this kit just for it to look like shit, you know? So take your time, go through all the fucking steps, because in the end, it'll be worth it, don't worry. Hey guys, so this is just a quick update. I already did put fiberglass here, so I'm starting to fill that in slowly. As you guys seen in the previous clips, I never really like bolted this side down or this side down, and I was kind of like, you know, thinking I'm gonna give it a try. We'll see how much it holds. I'm gonna panel bond these two panels together, and I'm gonna clamp it down like this so it has some like force into it, like it has some pressure onto it, and then yeah, we'll give that a try and see how that works. Like, here's a better view maybe. There is a little gap. There's like maybe like a millimeter of a gap, and I'm hoping like that doesn't really affect it that much. Like what because I can't really clamp it. Like I can't really put a bolt into here, into there, because it's gonna put pressure on the fiberglass kit. Because technically it does not want to go in like that, because there is, like, I don't want to explain it, but like it's not gonna work like that. It's gonna cause a crack if I bolt this in. So what I'm gonna do is just let it be, put some panel bond, and hopefully that holds it. Yep, just another update. Basically, I'm filling this gap with fiberglass. This fiberglass, the U-Pol stuff, I don't really like it because it's like really watery. But when it dries really nice. So I can't really complain. I had another fiberglass kit I was gonna use, but the idiots over the counter gave me the wrong fucking activator, and it's the Memorial Remembrance Day weekend, so everything's closed now. But yeah, so this is my second layer of fiberglass. What I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to bridge this gap as smooth as possible. And then once this gap is almost like 90% smooth, then I'm gonna body fill this whole panel and start blocking and trying to get it all in one piece. Yes, just a quick update. So I'm starting to mold it even more. So this is a short strand fiberglass, and this is a longer strand. It's called a kitty hair or whatever. I was originally gonna use this kitty hair first, but like I said in the previous clip, if I upload it, the fucking paint supply store gave me the wrong fucking activator for the long hair strand. So I just had to use my short strand that I had stored around. So basically, this kitty hair stuff, you want to use maybe once or twice, and that's it. It's just to build the foundation. So right now I'm building the foundation here. Basically, if I could like scale this, the fiberglass is very thin here, medium here, very high here because this is filling in the gap, and it's very thin here again. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to transition this, you know, when the kit was off, like there was a big bulge basically where I had the cover. So what I'm trying to do is transition this as smooth as possible. So right now I'm focusing on the areas in front of the kit, in front and behind the kit. So for example, like right here, same thing. I'm building the foundation here. I still have to sand this down. And then I just want to try and make it as smooth as possible to transition to here. And then once it's smooth and once it is as smooth as possible, the transition, then that's when I'm gonna fill this whole thing up. I hate to do it, but like it's the only way. So I'm gonna fill this whole thing up with body filler, this whole thing, and then that's when I'm gonna start blocking. Like right now for this fiberglass stuff, I'm not using a block. I'm using a DA sander because if you do blocking, it's gonna take fucking years. So I'm DAing all this, and like I said, fill in this gap as much as possible. Don't try to add too much filler here because what we're trying to do is trying to make it like you know how the RX-7 is like a bubbly quarter panel? That's what we're trying to do here. You don't want to have a thick coat of fiberglass here. You want to make it an even transition. You want to go from a very, very tiny fiberglass to a lot to back to normal. So yeah, that's it. So I'm starting on this fender because I'm starting to block that quarter panel. So I was like, you know, while I'm blocking there, I'll start putting the fiberglass on here as well. So before, this is my recommendation. You know the panel band, the panel bond, a bonder thing, whatever it's called. And you know when you're squeezing these two panels together, it squeezes out the panel bond. So I heard stories that stuff sometimes makes a ghost line when you don't remove it completely. That's what I heard. So what I like to do, just to make sure, because I don't want to redo this ever again, any panel bond that's sticking out, I grind it all the way down to bare metal. So anywhere it was sticking out here, I grind it down to bare metal so that the actual fiberglass kit is the actual highest point. And then I'm gonna bridge the gap with the kitty hair. That's what I'm gonna do right now. It's probably gonna take maybe 2 layers, hopefully 1 layer. Hopefully I can get it all in 1 layer, but maybe it's probably gonna take 2. So I'm gonna scuff this all up, get ready for kitty hair. I'm gonna scuff this up with maybe 40 grit. 40, it's too aggressive. I'll do 80 grit. I'll prep this all up with 80 grit, and I'll push in the kitty hair as tight as possible inside these little grooves. And then I'll try to flush it out to the panel. And then I will DA sand that kitty hair and then start applying the filler just like how I'm doing that side right there. And the progress on this is, it's taking time. It's taking time. Like I DA'd the top layer with 40 grit, and now I'm blocking with 80, trying to get this panel as smooth as possible. But I can already tell there's a high spot here. This is where the kit is basically mounting, because I remember the kit basically mounts to here, and it creates this arch. So this is a high here. So either way, I'm blocking it. I'm trying to get as smooth as possible. And as you can see by my filler, I'm trying not to get any filler up here, because my last skim coat I'm gonna put on the entire panel, I don't want too much Bondo up here, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm gonna block this down. It's probably gonna take maybe 3-4 attempts to get it almost flat. Like my goal here is not to get 100% mirror finish. That's what the polyester that's what the polyester primer is for. That I'm gonna spray 3-4 good coats on each panel that I'm putting this body kit on, and then that's when I'll do my final block. Right now, I'm just trying to make it as flat as possible, but I'm not trying to get rid of the waves, if that makes any sense. But yeah, this is the process, so yeah. All right, I just sanded it down, well, I just blocked down this panel, and I did not put any more Bondo or filler or whatever you guys want to call it. I've noticed I still have a lot of Bondo here, and I still have a lot of Bondo here. So I still believe I can still block down this even more. So I'm putting more guide coat to see what is left behind, because I know there's a low spot here, but it's not showing as clearly because when I block this is going down as well. So that means there's a lot of filler here, unnecessary filler here. So instead of putting more filler, I'm gonna put another layer of guide coat, which I just did. I'm gonna block again, and I'm gonna see what happens. All right, just a quick update. This is the foundation, basically. This is all fiberglass. I just laid on the foundation because basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this a little bit more higher here so the transition is more smoother. So that's why there's a lot more fiberglass on the end here to help with that transition. As you can see, this is just to help it build, I don't know how to, just to make the transition smoother. It's early in the morning. I don't feel like talking to explain too much, but yeah. All right, back in town. So I'm working on this thing. So where I left off last time was I did a rough blocking. It still needs another layer of blocking before I start putting more Bondo. Like this area here still needs a lot of work to do with just the block alone. And then before I left, I filled this area up with light Bondo just because there's a little dip here. So hopefully this fixes it. I still have to sand a little bit here. And then over here, this entire area was still, like when I felt my hand here, I could very faintly feel the kit, you know, the kit outline that starts right about here. I could barely, ever so slightly feel it. So I'm gonna do another fat layer here. I'm gonna block it down and hopefully that does resolve it. And yep. One issue I ran across that I wasn't fucking thinking about is when I mounted this body kit and I grinded the backside of this to bare metal for the panel bond to bond onto the fiberglass and the metal, my dumbass, I only put the panel bond on this panel. I never actually put any panel bond on the metal. It doesn't really affect the strength of the bond. It's just that if I put it on the bare metal and I smudged it around and covered all the bare metal as much as possible, I don't have to worry about future rust proofing, because technically that bare metal is covered by the epoxy bonding agent or whatever the fuck that thing is. But now there's some little areas here, I don't know where exactly, that the the bonder did not actually cover the bare metal. So there's right now exposed bare metal spots. So I have to figure out a way to get back in here and spray some paint or some oil or something. I'm probably gonna spray oil. I mean, paint, not oil. But I need to get something in there to make sure that it covers. And this side isn't the issue. Like I should be able to get in there with something and spray as much as I can back here. The issue is this side. Let me turn on my camera. I meant flash, but let me turn on my flash. This is what I mean. See this gas? Because like right here, it's covered, right? So technically, I'm gonna have no access to the bare metal that's exposed back there. So I'm just gonna be, I don't know, I'm gonna be like thinking of how to tackle this. I was like thinking maybe drilling like tiny little holes and putting like, I don't know if you ever guys saw like the Eastwood product that you put inside internal frames and you just spray and it sprays everywhere with a little straw. Probably gonna do the same idea, like put little holes here just so it covers any bare metal that's exposed. That's what I'm thinking, but we'll see. Just another quick update. The light's on the other side, but I'll still talk about this side real quick. So I filled this whole thing again, filled it all with filler, and I blocked it, and this time it's basically perfect. I got a low spot here that I gotta correct. Some little like ripple low spots from me not applying the filler as nice and smooth. Same thing here. And I got a little low spot here that I'm gonna fill in basically. So this side, honestly, I'm pretty happy with. Maybe one more rough block and like one more, going through this one more time blocking, and it should be all good. Doing the same thing here. Still haven't worked on the gas lid yet. I'm kind of like procrastinating about that, but I will get to it. So same thing. So far what I did right now is I just scuffed this whole thing up real quick with 80 grit on a DA with a soft pad. And now, like just like how it is right now, I'm gonna go over this thing blocking. And some tips, this is for me, because this is a radius, you're dealing with radiuses and stuff, so you don't want your block to be too stiff. So right now I'm just using Durablocks, and I'm using the skinny, I think this is 2 inches, and then like, is this 14 inches? I think it's 14 inches or some shit. Either way, I'm using this skinny Durablock. The skinny ones are very easy to bend, so these are really nice to bend. And I basically work the radius with this block around here, all the way to about maybe over here, like over there where my middle finger is. So I do the same thing, working it. And then up here, this, because it kind of concaves a little bit, I guess the word is. So I use this round Durablock just to get in there and make it all smooth. And over here, it's completely flat on the body panel. So I just come with just a regular flat block here. And then on the sides here, I think, okay, I should probably read. I don't know how big it is, man. I think this is 12 inches. 12 or 14, I don't know. And then over here with this 12-inch block, I do these areas as flat as possible till about like right here. And then I use a skinny block again just to give this a little radius. So same thing, block, like this flat block all the way across here till about maybe there here. And then the skinny block around here. And over here, I start using this block again just to get the flatter, just to get this side more flatter. So when it transitions to this door, the transition is smooth. So yeah, that's just my tips. And honestly, I don't know why Dura blocks get a bad rep for bodywork. I think they're really useful. Like obviously when you're doing like a flat finish, you want something more like straighter, but this is good just to rough in the body. So this honestly, these two like new blocks I bought just like literally today helped me save so much time, and it makes bodywork so much more useful. So if you're just still stuck with your basic blocks and you're struggling, try a different block, honestly. Like these new two blocks made my process so much easier. Sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's just the block you're using. Because I use this small little block here, but this is terrible for these radiuses, because this is very hard. This block, even though Dura blocks are kind of flexible, these are not. They're fucking stiff. So I'd rather prefer this skinny long block over this block for like arches like this any day. So yeah, that's just some tips. And now I'm gonna block this out and hopefully do one little last filler, just in the little spots I'm missing. And that's it. Straight to high build. And hope that's it, man. So another update video. So now while I'm waiting for, I'm doing more filler work, I'm just gonna do another entire skim coat on the front fender and basically do the same treatment I just did in the rear quarter panel and finalize it and throw it into high build as well and call it a day. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for that stuff to cure, I'm working on the valences. Oh, this is the wrong valence. Shit, 1 second. Well, I guess I'll give you an idea. You can guys already see this is a fucking mess. I'm obviously gonna trim this all down. It's just when you're applying this kitty hair shit, it's terrible to apply because it's really thick, and when you're like applying it, it kind of like moves everything, so you kind of like have to dab it. I did have tape before, but this shit, when you put on the tape, even when it's about to like harden, the tape kind of drags it. So either way, I'm shaving it. I'm gonna make it like probably this skinny, like literally an inch thick, maybe an inch and a half or whatever. So yeah. So what I'm doing is on the guy who made this kit, what he did is he added fiberglass and a piece of metal. First, he added a piece of metal over here just to support the valence. And he added a thick layer of fiberglass. Basically, it was like really thick here, and it thinned out over here to the actual body of the car. For me, I don't want to add another extra piece of metal. Like I don't want to make it uglier than it really needs to be. So what I'm trying to do is I'll probably extend this piece here if I need to, so it can line up to the holes here, which I don't have because this is a new welded section. And I'll drill out the holes and, put it in. But yeah, I'll extend this section out if needed. And that fiberglass, instead of putting it on the actual panel, I'm gonna put on the valence. Because in my opinion, it's better, in my opinion. I think this is the go-to method. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the fiberglass here and then sand it down, shape it, make it flat, make it all even, and then primer it, and then put the 3M adhesive. And that's it. Then I'll stick it on there, put the 2 bolts on the side there, and then put that 1 bolt, this little bolt here that connects to the bumper, and then call it a day. So that's what I'm doing. So right now, I am literally test fitting this, and I'm trying to fill in this gap as much as possible. You'll need a lot of filler here. You'll need a lot. So build up as heavy as it can here, and then about here, I start having very thin amount of filler because the valence itself, it is thick. I want the transition to be smooth, that's it. So I want it to just transition smoothly. So I'm not adding any filler here. I'm adding a tiny bit here and a whole lot right here. And I'm shaping it through this valence here. So another thing you'll need to do as well, because you're giving this more of an angle, the valence more of an angle. I don't know if you've noticed, I already cut this valence to give it some flexibility. So like for example, this valence is on the other side, so I'll show you. It's just the lighting here is no lighting. But basically right here, it sticks out maybe a couple millimeters. So what I did is I basically cut into it And I basically made it like, I cut into, I broke the valence a little bit so I can give it some flexibility to bend over this edge here, so it fully extends to the end here. Because I know for sure I will need to put a bit of fiberglass on here just to clean up the lines, and a tiny bit on the top here, just to make sure it's all lined up properly. And yeah, so that's why I'm doing some like relief cuts like this, just so it fits nicer. Hello, another update. So now I'm done with the blocking of the entire like panel. As you guys notice, it's basically covered in filler. This is the best I can do without having too many ripples, and it's smooth. Like if you guys like measure this, it's probably like literally maybe a millimeter or two thick. Like the only place where it's really thick is like where I'm literally mating these two surfaces together. Everything else is as thin as possible, as you can literally see. It's really thin. So yeah, now I'm just like fixing just touching up little areas and stuff, doing the same thing here. And yeah, basically, I do not expect this to be 100% perfect. Like this all right here that I have like shown, and the other side and everything, it's about 75 to 80% blocked, like good. Like obviously once I put this into like high build, well, obviously some direct to metal primer and then high build primer, then once I start blocking, then that will show me the little imperfections that I've left behind. This is just to get a good foundation. So yeah, don't expect it to be perfect right off the bat. Like you're gonna go from blocking to priming to bondo to priming to bondo to priming. It's a whole process. You keep going back and forth. It takes a while, so don't expect it to be 100% perfect. But yeah, so this is basically it. So once I do these little final touches, I will throw this in primer. Only issue is it's fucking cold here, so I cannot spray primer in here. So what I'm gonna probably do is book a paint booth just to spray. Well, obviously I'm gonna do some body work here as well, because this line's gonna be deleted, because you know it basically got deleted here, so I'm gonna delete the same thing here, and then I'm gonna add this line onto these panels, so that line will be back. And then that basically means I gotta put the whole car back in primer. Obviously the door areas and the areas that are still white, put maybe like 2 layers of primer and that's it. But the other areas, like the areas I have bondo, it's gonna be like maybe 4 or 5. And in the paint booth, I'm gonna spray the engine bay again. Because engine bay is basically prepped. I'm just gonna do some touch-ups and then I'll spray the engine bay. So at least I get something else accomplished in the paint booth besides priming. Because like, just throwing this into the paint booth and bringing it back and everything, it's gonna probably cost me like $1,000. You know, like probably $400 transporting it, and like a couple hundred for the paint booth fees, probably like $300-400 for the paint booth fees, and then probably another $200 in materials. So yeah, it's just a process. These things are not cheap. Do not come into these restorations thing. It's fucking cheap. Even if you're doing it yourself, you're still gonna pay maybe $40,000. Like obviously restorations probably cost up to like $150,000. Just the material alone is like half that. So don't expect these things to be cheap. So yeah, that's about it. All right, so another update on the doors. So basically, this is flat. Like it blends in here completely fine. And this took me about maybe three layers of body filler, like body filler, sand, and it's good now. Now I'm trying to blend the door with this new addition, because like I said in the previous clip, this is higher. This is like more outwards than this door. So it's gonna be like a little swoop that we're gonna try to implement here. So my goal is, now everything's nice and flat. Like when I put my hand like this on where I put the body filler, it's perfectly flat. And obviously there's some hard lines here because it's taking forever to actually like get this body filler to blend nicely with the door. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm from this body line here down to basically here, I'm gonna put a light skim coat on the entire on that section, and then block smoothly. And then that I'll block with 120 grit. This is on a sticky sandpaper, so this is gonna get as smooth as possible. All right, I put a layer of filler. Now my goal is hopefully this will all sound like blocked down smoothly, and the transition from up here to down there will be as smooth as possible. I'm just hoping that I put enough filler to blend in that little dip here, so hopefully it just transitions smooth, because I don't want to do this again. I hate like filling an entire panel. It's tedious, and you gotta make sure it's like you put the filler on like as flat as possible, right? Because you're trying to make it as smooth as possible. What was I gonna say, man? Yeah, it's like minus 15 degrees right now. This body filler, pain in the ass to apply. It's already a pain in the ass to like wait for the body filler to cure in the cold. That's why I got the infrared heater, so it helps with that. But applying the body filler when the panel is literally like minus 20 degrees, it hardens the filler so much, and it just takes a lot to just try to make it smooth as possible without actually like fucking up the filler. Like if I go close up here, like you can see, like yeah, it looks kind of smooth, but down there it isn't. It's just pulling. Sometimes I'm literally just pulling the filler. It's not even like sliding, if that makes any sense. So you know how in my previous clips, maybe like this part maybe 9 or 10, I was talking about this body line. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to fix and make straight. I realized, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, skim coating the entire panel and blocking will actually fix that line. So what I'm gonna do as well is up here, I'm gonna put another light skim coat just so I can straighten up that body line. Once I get this door blocked down and everything, and the line and when I got the line exactly how I want it, then I'm gonna make this line go into here, maybe stop about right here, and then continue off to the other side of the quarter panel. So that's the goal. I love the 240X body lines. It gives the boring body shape of the car some characteristics. All right, I'm back. So I block sand this is just a quick block sand. This is with 120 grit on the long ass block I have. I don't know where I put it. That's like, I think this is like 16 inches long. So it's pretty good for doors like this. I honestly don't see the point of having a long ass block. It's gonna tire your shoulders and arms out, but whatever. This is not about that. So I started blocking the top here as well. And the reason why I put the tape here right on the bottom of the body line here is to save this edge to make it as sharp as possible when I do put primer over it, because I don't wanna roll the line over it. I want to make it as sharp as possible. So yeah, I put guide coat on this and I started blocking with 120. And as you can see, we got a low spot here. We got a bunch of lows right near the body line. So that's why I'm gonna put an entire skim coat and block the rest. By the time I'm done blocking the skim coat, there shouldn't be much body filler left, honestly. Like this is not done. Don't get this mixed up. This is not done. This is nowhere near. Maybe like 40% done. Like I still have to go a lot more. But that's the whole point. I just want to make this sure this body line is straight. So I'm doing the same thing here. I'm just blocking. I'm just seeing where the lows are, and clearly there's a lot of lows right here. And I never used to have this low spot here. So this came by itself. And because body filler and primers, these all shrink within time. This one, I cannot feel it with my hand at all. I cannot feel it. Actually, no, I can't. I can't feel it at all. So these things come like body filler, primers, they all shrink. So that's why people usually when they spray they spray like primers or anything or epoxies, like literally they're on their last stage before paint. They let the car sit for like 2-3, like maybe a month or two max, just so everything shrinks up. So you don't see this later on, because it does shrink. Whatever, that's beside the point. So once I'm done blocking this area with the 120, I'm gonna put a skim coat. I'm gonna move this tape up here so I can get the sharpness back up here. And then yeah, that's it. Hey guys, just another update. So, there's a lot of dust in there, so I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. But I sand this, I started blocking this down, and it's not done yet. Like I'm still gonna do a lot more. Same thing with this. And this is like the most flattest section here with no like little ripples or anything. And transition's really nice, so can't wait to complete the rest of the door. I add a little bit more filler just in areas where it's a little too low, so at least when I'm blocking, it blocks evenly. So that's what I'm doing. And as you can see, there's a really low spot here and here. So giving it a skim coat actually helped, and look, it gave it more filler on this line here, so the line's gonna be perfect basically. So yeah, I'm gonna block a couple more times. As you can tell, I'm almost hitting the white primer. If you guys can tell on the camera, I'm about to hit the white primer, so I'm almost there. But basically that means I have to add a tiny bit of filler here, and should be good to go. And yeah. I guess just another update on the doors. So I had some very, very, very low spots that are like, I can't even feel it. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some spot putty, like or glazed putty, I guess. I use this brand. It's honestly always been amazing and never gave me any issues. And it's one part, you don't have to mix anything, so it applies really easily. So I'm just applied a big line here because there's a couple low spots. So just to bridge everything together, I just put across the whole thing. There's a little low spot there and another one over there. And this is what I do. When I'm blocking, I don't wait till I'm fully done the panel and then I add more body filler. Usually when I'm blocking and I see like really low spots, I add body filler right away. So at least when I'm still blocking the rest of the panel, those areas get leveled the exact same time. I don't like putting body filler right after I finish blocking the whole entire panel because then you gotta block again, you gotta make it, you gotta blend it in and everything. Hopefully that makes sense. Either way, this is it. So yeah. Hey, just another little quick update. This is like maybe the third or fourth time of me just, putting a little tiny body filler and tiny bit of glaze putty on the sections of the door while I'm blocking. And as you can see, I'm literally getting back to, I think this is the polyester primer. So as you can see, it's basically all gone, the body filler. It's all on the fucking floor. And as you can see, put more glaze putty. It's just a process. It's a back and forth. This is literally what separates a $10,000-$15,000 paint job to maybe a $50,000-$60,000 paint job. Like these little details, like no one's gonna notice this little body line curves in a tiny bit. It's just this is the type of effort you're gonna need to put in if you want your car to really look good. So it's a process. Don't expect this shit to be quick and easy. Well, it's easy, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication. So don't stress yourself out if it's taking too long. All right, now I'm starting on the side skirts. So just give you a little insight on the side skirts and how I'm doing that. The valences, I stopped the progress because there's one thing I need to make sure of, and it's how the rear bumper will sit. And because the valence, it swoops on the side, right? So I don't want to finalize like the fiberglass here until I know exactly how the bumper sits and mates with this. So the plan is to get the car sitting on the ground. At least I can mount the rear bumper and then I can finish off the valences. So as you can see on the ground, there's a cut off piece of my side skirt. So initially I was like, that's my side skirt over there. I was planning to just bend it and not bend it, but like do the exact same as the guy who made the kit. Just put a bit of fiberglass there and literally just mount it like that. But I decided against that because I don't want to make it as ugly. So what I'm doing now, you can probably tell because I cut the side skirt, is I'm basically, this is going to be hard to, let me place the camera somewhere. All right, hopefully understand. So basically what I decided to do was I cut as straight as possible because when I get to the kit, basically what I'm going to do is I'm basically gonna have this bent a little bit, like the side skirt's straight like this, it'll be coming like this. So it'll flare out a little bit, and that's my whole idea, to keep this as clean as possible. So basically, my main concerns when mounting this is I want this to mate with this as straight as possible, and I need this to be the highest point. So this is, when I bend it like this is supposed to be the highest point, and this is the lowest. And because over here, the kit is very thin right here, it's literally very thin. So what I'm gonna have to do is make this very thin, or add a bit of body filler here and add just a bit of add a bit of body filler here, just so this can flare out a little bit, and this doesn't have to be absolutely like paper thin, which will not have any strength basically. So that's what I'm gonna do. So like I said, this is the main concern, and this. So this, you want this because now I cut this off the side skirt. You want this to be as close to this door frame as possible. So at least when you mount this back on the side skirt, it's properly positioned. So when you go to mount and take off, it doesn't need any more readjusting, I guess, or what I can say. But either way, so plan is, I'm gonna get this as close as possible here. So I'm gonna have it flare out like this, something like this. Actually, let me get it positioned real quick. Give me a second. Because I gotta figure out, because there's a lot of finesse you gotta do with fiberglass. So if you have a plastic plastic side skirt, I do not recommend doing this. Just go buy a fiberglass side skirt. So they're a lot more easier to play with, in my opinion. So I'm gonna have it something like this. So at least this body line here is pretty much close. So as you can see, I need to trim a part of this to fit underneath this line. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And over here, because I'm flaring this out so much, I will need to extend this part of the side skirt. So at least the mounting tabs are perfect. And basically, once I have all these dimensions perfect and everything, then I'm gonna add fiberglass. Well, I'm gonna just like the valences. I'm gonna add fiberglass the most here and thin it thin it as much as possible over here. So when it comes to putting the 3M tape, at least it's making full contact. So I have the screws mounting the side skirt here, so it gives it some strength and it holds in position. And then I actually have the 3M tape here that's actually like pressing it against the body, so it will look as flat as possible and it'll look really clean. So yeah, that's the goal. And I know these original side skirts, they come with like mounting on the pinch welds. I never use those, so don't worry about that. It will still be structural. It'll still be really structurally sturdy. So yeah, that's a goal. Yeah, that's just an update. So, like, I'm working the rear end of the side skirt. I'm gonna work on the front end as well. Basically, it lines up here perfectly fine, you know. But as you can see, there's a big gap here. And right here, I don't think I have to add too much fiberglass. Maybe just up here a little bit, because the hole is right there. So I'm gonna add a bit of fiberglass over here. But down here, the hole originally was here, but the actual fender is probably like right here. So I don't think I need to add any more fiberglass down there. But either way, now I'm facing this thing, right? So just like I would do the the rear, I'll cut this up as well and then mold it back on the kit once it's ready and in position. Another quick update, I'm working on the side skirts today. That's one part of it. This is another part of it. This is for the driver's side, so I'll get the passenger side, which is this. So, fiberglass is almost there. Like, I literally just put it on that. I try to make it as thin as possible, and I added additional fiberglass, like actual fiberglass. And yeah, so it fits perfectly, in my opinion. Everything almost lines up. Obviously, I'm gonna clean up the lines and everything. Like over here, I'm going to clean up a little bit just so it lines up a little bit more. And yes, over here, there's a little gap right there, but it's probably because I'm doing this with one hand. But once I get everything situated properly, it should look completely flush. Yeah, I use like the more traditional, I guess maybe traditional way, like with the fiberglass in resin on the base layer of this lip I made right here. But honestly, I think this form of fiberglass, like the green form right here, is a lot easier to build on top of. So that's why I went back with the kitty hair stuff I'm using right now. So, tips for building it up really quickly without sanding. This is just the first layer. It's not that thick. Well, it is thick, but not too thick. And I'm letting the infrared heater bake it and get it almost cured. And when it's about to cure, when it's like literally when I can touch it and it moves a tiny bit, I literally just get the next layer of fiberglass that's just waiting there, and I put it right on top of that. So I don't want to, so that saves me from like sanding in between layers. It might not be a conventional way of doing it, but honestly, who gives a shit? This builds up quicker and it's on the back side of the side skirt. No one gives a fuck. So I don't think that's gonna have any issues. If you guys want to save yourself some time, do that. It saves so much time in between like sanding and everything. And this fiberglass, if you're thinking like, oh, it might harden when it's off to the side. Yeah, it might harden, but if you're in a cold climate like me, it will not harden. So you can just, keep this on the side, it will not harden. If you're in a warmer climate, all you gotta do is maybe mix up more fiberglass. That's about it. So that's my tip for building building this as thick as possible. Another quick idea, this side skirt, I don't know if you've ever guys had this side skirt before. It's not the kooky, it's more like the chooky style. But this lip right here where my thumb is, it always has an issue, if this is not the plastic version, of scraping against the door when you close it. So if you look at most like fiberglass, like chooky style side skirts, this area right here is all scratched up and the bottom of the door is probably missing some paint as well. So in my opinion, Let me just tape this up, so hopefully that one piece of tape holds it up for this duration. But yeah, like I cut the first piece of side skirt here, so when you're cutting, you gotta count for the saw blade or the blade, how thick it is, because you're gonna be missing that completely. So either way, you're gonna be filling that gap, those little tiny gaps left behind, whatever. What I'm thinking is, because this scrapes against the door, right? This lip is already good enough onto the actual like jam. Same with this side. Like once I actually push it in, there's like as you can see, this when I first had this kit, there was a hole here. So that hole probably goes somewhere over here or whatever. So I'm thinking I'm just keeping those two fat lips and then curving this, like cutting all this section right here all the way and then curving back out. So hopefully with that, it will look clean. Like obviously I'll try to make it as flush as possible with the body line. And then that will fix my issue of me scraping against the door whenever I open and close. And you know, whenever you open the door, you're gonna see that hideous like scrape marks. So that will take it away from it. And those two holes there, like those two drills, I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna do self-tappers. I'm obviously gonna, I forget the name of it, but either way, those are gonna be tapped in. And then with the side skirt on both ends supporting it, it will be very, very firm. And because this is flat against the body, that my goal is to make this flat against the body, I can, like obviously I'm gonna push this in a little bit, but I can use these tabs to secure this as much as possible. So either way, it's gonna be very, very strong. Hey guys, this is gonna be my last video, my last clip before the ending of this video, I'm guessing. So I'm just gonna tell you where I'm gonna be stopping at, and yeah. So here's the side skirts for one of the three pieces. This is basically fitting perfectly fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shave this lip a little bit, get that cleaned up, maybe put a light bit of filler on top just so it's all even for the 3M tape, and then call it a day. Same thing there, same thing with this piece of side skirt. Basically all the ends of the side skirts are ready. And I cut it up as well. I cut the middle section. Basically, this is the idea. As you can see, it's more thicker on the ends and then just skinny on the middle. And basically, when you do line them up, like this, basically, this is what it's going to be looking like. So these ends right here will be perfect for putting a rivet in, basically. And then this is perfect. Like, it's perfect. Like, I'm not going to, like, fill this in with any seam seal or anything, because if water does get through here, it's literally going to drip down here and exit down here. So no need to like seam seal. I don't see the point. So yeah, that's it. And hopefully you enjoy these videos and clips. And next video, I don't know when it's going to be. This takes a lot of time to do. But if you have any questions or anything, just leave them down in the comments. If you have this kit and just need some more specifics or exactly what I did in certain areas I missed out on that you need more clarification. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video.